Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, February 5, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you guys utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section, but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below, letting me know what the that's been like in your ear recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro model that came out at 3:30 p.m. today, as well as the latest GFS model that came out at 6 p.m. today. So keep your eyes focused right here on the timestamp at the top as we go out to the next 168 hours. That's the next 7 days. And keep your eyes also focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens that represents inches of rainfall. Alright, so let's go. We can see that as we head into Thursday, definitely some morning rainfall for northeastern parishes. That has been the order of the week, and so it shall continue on Thursday. We also see 18th on Thursday showing 1 p.m. We see the greens across southern and western parishes. Let's see if that actually unfolds on Thursday afternoon. On Friday, we do see some dots of greens across the northern portion of the island in the morning. During the afternoon, across section of central and western parishes. Saturday, let's see what's going to be taking place. Well, it doesn't seem like much for the morning. Maybe some isolated afternoon rainfall across southern Jamaica during Saturday afternoon. Sunday morning, northeastern parishes with some isolated showers. Sections of some central and western parishes during Sunday afternoon. Let's see what Monday has in store for us. Just some dots of greens across the northern and eastern coastlines. Then the afternoon showing some rainfall across southern and western Jamaica. Tuesday, what's going to be taking place on Tuesday? We see some isolated showers right here around 18th on Tuesday, which is actually 1 p.m. across eastern Jamaica. Very interesting. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Wednesday, February 12th. We can see some isolated showers, well, some rainfall for sure, to the south of Hispaniola, to the west of Jamaica, across southeastern Jamaica. Let us see what the latest GFS is showing for the same 168 hour time frame. We can see that as we head into Thursday, just like what the Euro was showing, some morning rainfall is definitely expected across northeastern parishes in Jamaica, spilling into section of some southern and western parishes during the afternoon. Friday, section of northern parishes getting in on some isolated showers. Then section of some southern and western parishes getting in on some of the action as well. During Friday afternoon, let's see what Saturday has in store for us. Look at this. Somewhat of a difference. Remember on the Euro, it was showing some, well, little to nothing at all for Saturday, but now we're seeing central and western parishes getting in on some afternoon rainfall on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken. Sunday, definitely some isolated afternoon rainfall across eastern, central, and western parishes. Monday, northeastern parishes and central and western Jamaica getting in on some amount of rainfall. And even on Wednesday, we see some activity on the north coast right here. Let's go back. We saw it, well, 0 on Wednesday actually is 7 p.m. on Tuesday, so I guess that's valid for Tuesday instead. But we're going to be stopping it right here on Wednesday, February 12th. And we can actually see what the Euro was showing, the dots of greens across eastern Jamaica. We'll see if that actually unfolds around that time frame. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 7 days, we can clearly see that both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until Wednesday, February 12th. And clearly the most in for rainfall can be seen in the reds, the burgundies, the purples, the pinks that represents 1 to 2 to 3 all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall. and you can clearly see that the most rainfall over the next 7 days should be plaguing Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, sections of Trinidad and Tobago, sections of southern Venezuela, western Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, eastern Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize, portions of the Yucatan Peninsula right here. You can also see some amount of rainfall in store for Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, eastern Puerto Rico, the US and British Virgin Islands, as well as eastern portions of Hispaniola, Dominican Republic, as well as the far eastern portions of Cuba and the northeastern Jamaica. And it's not only the GFS that is showing this, but even the Euro when we take a close look. And we can see that the most rainfall clearly is going to be across Central America. Those areas that are going to be picking up the dark reds, purples into the pinks, Northern South America as well. So those areas could definitely get into some amount of isolated flash flooding. So we just hope and trust that the people residing in those areas are taking necessary precautions so that they're not that drastically affected by any isolated flash flood or any landslides. But if we switch gears and look at Jamaica a bit closer regarding where the rainfall is expected over the next 7 days, both maps here are showing the total accumulated precipitation, and we can clearly see that the most rainfall should be plaguing northeastern parishes, anywhere from St. Ann eastward, St. Mary, Portland especially. The Euro is showing all the way up to 50 millimeters of rainfall. The GFS is going all the way up to at least 40 millimeters of rainfall. Either way, we have the consensus, we have the agreement that Portland should be receiving the most rainfall over the next 7 days, and it's going to be spread out over the next 7 days. It's not going to be all at once on one specific day, and they've already been getting in on this all winter long, and there's more of that to come because the pattern is definitely stuck. But by the end of the 7 days, that pattern could shift to more of an east-southeasterly kind of flow. It's the northeasterly flow with that moist air from the windward passage between Haiti and Cuba that's causing all of this rainfall. Alright, let us take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening. You can see ridges of high pressure right here across the southeastern US, another ridge of high pressure right here to the north of the Cabo Verde Island. I know they're responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region through the Caribbean. We can see a trough right here to the east of the Caribbean, as well as another trough right here to the north of the eastern Caribbean. You know, the troughs are represented by the broken orange lines. While to the north of the trough, we have a cold front attached to a stationary frontal system extending all the way into the southeastern portion of the United States. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before the sun went down, we can make out all of these entities. First of all, the clouds associated with the trough to the east of the Caribbean right here, the clouds associated with the other trough to the north of the Caribbean right here, and the frontal system's clouds extending and pushing eastward, definitely extending all the way into portions of the United States. And we can also make out the low level flow of the low to mid level clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure's easterly flow across the main development region into the Caribbean. And we can even make out that upper level southwesterly flow with the high cirrus clouds being streaked off towards the northeast from northern and South America into portion of the main development region. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean a little later on. Let us focus your attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, February 5, 2025. It was stated that rainfall was in the forecast during the morning of Wednesday, February 5, across sections of some northern and eastern parishes, and that some of this activity could have spilled into sections of some southern parishes, but it didn't make any forecast for the afternoon at all. The afternoon was definitely forecast to be dry. This was why nothing was said about the afternoon. But either way, we know northern parishes we're talking about Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, Portland, while eastern parishes, you know, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, and we didn't get a chance to post anything this morning. Very busy schedule recently, my apologies. But we can see the visible satellite images right here, showing that we didn't receive much in the way of anything during the afternoon. Just some clouds bring some basically partly cloudy skies. It's a section of northern Jamaica, definitely windy up there as well. Not seeing much happening across the south coast either. Just some partly cloudy skies in the southwest before all was said and done with the day. And the infrared close-up satellite images confirm this. Not much of anything at all up to this point. And we can at least make out some high cirrus clouds in the west being streaked off towards the northeast, but that's basically it. Taking a look here at See Jamaica's YouTube channel, showing the Flatbridge cam at around 1:43 p.m. We can see that it was definitely sunny during the afternoon. Definitely bright sunshine, the real Cobra definitely chilling. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Taking a look here at the latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. We're reloading this image to see what's taking place right now, and the latest still image is showing 23:55 UTC, and when calculated that's about 6:55 p.m. so this just came out 14 minutes ago, considering that it's 7:09 p.m. right now, and we don't see much of anything across the island right now. Maybe some slight clouds across Portland, maybe the Blue Mountains. We can also see some clouds right here to the southwest of the island, but that's basically it. Let's see if we have any rainfall within all of that. Well, can't make it out because we're still glitching out February 3 into February 4 with the Cuban Doppler radar imagery. Boy, this Cuban Doppler radar are always glitching out these days. Hopefully the Jamaican Doppler radar gets fixed soon. Let's see what's happening for the Guantanamo Bay Cuban naval radar imagery. Can't make out much of anything across northeastern Jamaica. Not really sure if this is ground clutter across eastern Cuba to the north of Guantanamo, but I guess we can make out some isolated shores right here across the southwestern peninsula of Haiti right there. Taking a look at the Cayman radar, not seeing much of anything across southern Cuba, western Jamaica, or the waters in and around the Cayman Islands right now. If we take a look at what's happening right now on the halfway tree camera, we can definitely see people in their vehicles going about their business, people walking about going about their business. Those who are going home are going home, those who are heading towards a night shift are heading towards a night shift. And we can see that it's definitely fair, not much in the way of rainfall at all, definitely fair conditions these days for sure. And this is the live cam on See Jamaica's YouTube channel. If you'd like to see more, just go over there. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay and Kingston, or it could be a bit higher than that for sure. These are estimated temperatures for this time, and it should be getting lower as the night progresses. You can also see some bright greens into yellows. That represents 20 to 25 knot winds. Could definitely be windy on the north coast as we speak. Let me know what the weather is like over there. But by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 23 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for, well, this is saying Saturday 0Z. Hold up. Let me find the actual one for Thursday. Alright, so we're going all the way back to weathermodels.com. Alright, so we're going back. Alright, here we go. This was the one we were supposed to find for today. Alright, there we go. There we have it. So this is supposed to say 18Z on Thursday. The one that I was just showing was showing a bit 0Z on Saturday. That's about 7 p.m. on Saturday. We don't want it. Well, 7 p.m. on Friday. We don't want to see that. We want to see this one. 18Z on Thursday. We're talking about tomorrow. And that's about 1 p.m. on Thursday. And we can see right here that Jamaica is embedded in some grays and some slight yellow colors. That represents at least up to 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. I know the normal temperature for the month of February across Jamaica is around 86.4 degrees Fahrenheit. And when that's calculated to degrees Celsius, that's about 30.1 degrees Celsius. So it should be receiving anywhere from 30 to 31 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. And unfortunately, we have some maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page. And we definitely have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, let them know that a power outage is coming their way. And we're referring to Thursday, February 6, 2025. February 6, Bob Marley's birthday. Alright, so here we go. We're referring to Thompson Town from Wire Fence in Manchester from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bucktoe Lane in St. James from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Spring Garden, Bottom Road in St. Thomas from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Dunsville in St. Anne, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Tyrrell Gardens in and as well as Sandy Bay in Hanover from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sunnyside in St. Catherine from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. New Haven, Buchan Avenue or Buchan Avenue, Ebenezer Avenue, Alamanda Terrace, Columbus Drive, Edgware Road, and roads leading up in the parish of St. Andrew from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat if you're affected by tomorrow's heat. It states here, when outside, seek shade. Eat fresh. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruits. Rest. Make sure you're getting enough sleep, and rest if you're feeling tired. Soak. Take a cool shower or bath to help you cool down. And I cannot stress enough the importance of staying hydrated throughout the day. Even if you're not thirsty, drink lots of water. Put away those sugar drinks. Drink water instead. Taking a look at the dry air map, we know that the dry air is represented by what we see here on the key on the bottom. That's the yellows, the oranges, the reds, and what's in those reds. And we can clearly see that we have an abundance of dry air across the entire Atlantic basin, from Africa across the Caribbean into the Gulf of Mexico, and clearly the most dry air is right here on the coast of Africa, where we have those dark reds into whites. Definitely drier than average, closer to Africa right there. And we can also see a mixture of blues across the waters right here to the east of French Guyana. We can also see some yellows here and there across the Caribbean. That's what we want to see. We want to see more blues, if not yellows. Yellows represents the low end of the scale in terms of dry air. I want the air to be as moist as possible to bring us some rainfall. And we're indeed grateful that as for right now, well, at least for 2 p.m. on Thursday, we can clearly see that there is not much in the way of Saharan dust in store for North America, Central America, the Bahamas, the Caribbean, or Northern and South America. But we can make out the outline of some slight shades of brown across portions of the main development region that represents the Saharan dust. And we're indeed grateful that it's not that vigorous of a plume, because if it was a vigorous plume, we would see some dark shades of browns, and we know that can cause very hazy skies, not to mention trigger some amount of respiratory illnesses in some persons. So we're grateful that the Saharan dust is not really that robust at this time, or for 2 p.m. on Thursday. Taking a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, the pattern has not shifted at all. The highest waves should be across the waters of the Caribbean, from the eastern to the central to the southwestern, where we have those purples into the pinks and to the burgundies that represent what we see here on the key on the bottom right. That's the 2 all the way up to maybe 4 meter wave heights for sure, while we see the light shades of blues, the dark shades of blues extending from the Gulf of Mexico into the northwestern Caribbean. That window represents anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height all the way up to 1.5 meter wave height, and that's because of the winds that are expected. But before we look at the winds, let's see what Jamaica's north coast should be getting in on, up to at least 2 meter wave height. South coast right here, 1.9 right here to the south of Clarendon, 2 meter wave height to the south of St. Thomas. Either way, all of that is because of these winds. We see the bright greens into yellows that represents anywhere from 20 to 25 knots, and we can clearly see the flow across the eastern Caribbean coming in from the east northeast, if not from the northeast, and definitely pushing down to the southwestern Caribbean eventually. We can also see it right here across the northwestern Caribbean from the east, and when it gets into the Gulf of Mexico, it's definitely curving northward, so more of a southeasterly or southerly flow over there for the southern US states. But if we take a closer look at Jamaica regarding our winds, we can clearly see more of an east-northeasterly flow definitely coming in, definitely favoring more of that relief rainfall for northern parishes for sure, because all of that moist air going to be rising when it hits the hills of Portland, St. Mary, which explains the precipitation forecast maps. You see more of an east-northeasterly flow, or it could just be an easterly flow eventually. If we take a closer look regarding these wind barbs and, let's say, compass directions, right here it says 15 knots from the east. Right here it says 12 knots from the east. We'll see exactly what unfolds tomorrow. Either way, we see that the upper level wind should still be coming in from the west. We can see that when we look back at the infrared. Let's look back at the first infrared. We can definitely make out the high cirrus clouds streaking off and pushing off to the east. That's what we're referring to. So if by chance we get some isolated thunderstorms, which I'm sure we won't, because look at this, we're seeing some isolated thunderstorms across the Yucatan, northern Belize, and Guatemala. So it's not impossible, but if we have the right conditions, you might just see something similar to that, with the high cold cloud tops being streaked out towards the east. Either way, in terms of the rainfall forecast maps, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing 9 a.m. on Thursday. And we can clearly see that there's going to be some blue surface and rainfall across where? Northeastern Jamaica, anywhere from St. Ann, eastward, maybe St. Mary, Portland getting into some of the action. And we see that both models are in consensus with that. Then skipping to the afternoon now, 3 p.m. on Thursday, the Euro is showing isolated afternoon rainfall mainly across central and western parishes. GFS definitely showing something similar in the same spots, but it's not a vigorous, let's say, signal. We don't see the dark blues that would give us the inkling to think that yes, we're definitely in for a lot of rain. We're seeing it on the low end of the scale in terms of blues. So yes, it could rain, but at the same time it could just be some overcast skies, if not some light rain, drizzle, whatever the case may be. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and whatever happens tomorrow, I'll definitely keep you posted for sure. And we have the accumulated precipitation forecast maps right here confirming the rainfall that's expected across northeastern Jamaica tomorrow. The Euro clearly a bit more robust than the GFS. Euro going all the way up into the reds. That is representing 0.79 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going all the way up into the yellows, that represents up to at least 0.3 of an inch of rainfall. And we can clearly see that the most rainfall should be plaguing Portland. We'll see exactly what unfolds, and we'll definitely take all the rainfall that we can get. We're in the month of February, and in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive up to at least, let's say, 19 millimeters of rainfall. In Montego Bay, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive up to at least, let's say, 2.9 inches of rainfall. And I'd like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of February or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice little graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the math yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. So, as stated, we have some low-level clouds pushing through the Caribbean as we speak. Some of these clouds may be getting all the way up into the mid-levels of the atmosphere, bring some overcast skies, if not some isolated shores, sections of the Eastern Caribbean to the Central Caribbean. Let's take a closer look regarding the Doppler radar imagery. We can clearly see the Doppler radar showing us that there's rainfall in and around Dominica, Guadeloupe, Antigua and Barbuda as we speak. So too the US and British Virgin Islands, to the north and west of Puerto Rico as well. And if we load these images from earlier today, you can clearly see that Puerto Rico was definitely getting in on their fair share of rainfall coming in from the east, across section of eastern, central and southwestern Puerto Rico for sure. Taking a look at the Barbados radar, we can make out some isolated sprinkles affecting the island as we speak. Some of this rainfall was affecting the island earlier, now pushing towards or already affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We can also see rainfall affecting section of St. Lucia, Martinique, some rainfall to the east of Dominica, Guadeloupe. We also already saw that on the other Doppler radar. We can also see some isolated sprinkles right here passing through Tobago, some of which could be extending as far as Trinidad. We also see some isolated shores passing to the north of the ABC Islands. Some rainfall that we saw on the infrared just now, affecting portions of the Yucatan, section of Belize, as well as northern Guatemala. And regarding where most of the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps here from the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that the most rainfall over the next 24 hours should be plaguing these areas that are shaded in oranges and reds. We're referring to Guyana, Suriname, French Guyana, sections of Colombia, Panama, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, southeastern Nicaragua that is. We can also see some rainfall in store for portions of northern and eastern Honduras, section of Belize, the Yucatan, northern Guatemala, northeastern Jamaica, eastern Cuba, sections of northern Haiti, majority of, the eastern half of the Dominican Republic, eastern Puerto Rico, section of the US and British Virgin Islands, anywhere from Guadeloupe southward, Dominica, Martinique, maybe some isolated shores in store for sections of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, Barbados, as well as Trinidad with some of the isolated shores. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS are in consensus with this forecast. And we know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.